I think we got Stevens Plowman's here too. I see him up there, and he's going to give us an update on the PPP. I know Kathy just mentioned that, and we were really happy to have him today. We invited him to give us the update because he knows what's going on. So, Stevens, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes, I am. I'm here and ready to go.
Oh, okay. Well, please fill
Okay.
us in.
Thank you, John. Let me back up for a minute and talk about the earlier PPP program so everyone can kind of see how it's progressed to what really the community banks could start loading up applications today with the SBA. But you know, when COVID hit, that first stimulus package, the CARE package, that was some 2.2 trillion, and within that, the PPP started off at 350 billion to the SBA, and later they enlarged it so that the total package to the SBA was some 669 billion for the PPP. So to talk about the SBA for a minute, the SBA's annual budget for like the 6 years coming up to COVID was 23 billion. So in a 3-week period, they went from 23 billion to an additional 669 billion. That's something like a 2,800 increase in like a 3-month period. And so obviously they didn't have the bandwidth, the number of staff, in addition to which a lot of the rules are U.S. Treasury rules and not SBA rules. So suddenly their staff were learning a whole different set of regulations that were not theirs. And then to bring on some 5,000 banks that started offering the PPPs in a 3-month period. And I've got a lot of complaints over the years with the SBA, but really on this, that they were kind of handled a mission impossible to try to get through. And yeah, there were a lot of mistakes made, but again, going from a good example is before COVID and the PPP, they were doing about 1,000 loans a month across the country. Within the PPP program, they've done some 5.2 million loans, which means for the first 3 months, they were doing about 1,000,007 loans a month. So they had to go from, again, 1,000 loans to nearly 1.7 million loans a month. And you know, the whole was to push that money out as quick as possible. And a lot of mistakes have been made, but they were given the challenge to get the money out. And so they did. Now, when the final PPP program got over, they still had some 148 billion that's never been used. So it was overfunded with the second round. And the U.S. Treasury estimates that the total PP program kept in place some 51 million jobs in our economy. I don't know how they came up with that number. I don't know if it's realistic, but that's their estimate. Then going back to the original PPP program, at this time, they have actually forgiven 1.1 million of those loans for some $100 billion in our economy. Right now, they're processing an additional $1.3 million applications for forgiveness, and that will be about $170 billion if they get all that completed. So there's still confusion about two different SBA programs. There is the PPP, which is a forgiveness program, and there's a traditional EIDL. And the EIDL is a traditional disaster area loan, where normally you think of a flood disaster or a tornado. EIDL is an economic disaster. There's no forgiveness. It's a low rate, like I think it's like 1.75, and it's paid back over 30 years. And you work directly with the SBA for that. The PPP, which again is Paycheck Protection Program was originally purpose was to keep people on the payroll. And again, it is forgivable. And they're going through that process for the people who originally applied. These programs really are not for real estate investment, but if you are on the commercial side, your tenants can obviously apply for this. And under the new program, these funds are available for them to pay rent. And they really tried to make the new program much more small business focused. For example, under the first program, you could apply up to 10 million. Under this program, 2 million is the maximum. Under the first program, 500 employees was the maximum. Under this program, 300 employees. In addition to which, a higher percentage of the total PP loan had to go to payroll in the first one, where under this program, the funds, again, 60% of it has to go to payroll, but the additional can just go to basic operating expenses, rent, utilities, property damage, supply costs, and any kind of protection costs that the business might have incurred. Forgiveness, of course, is a very important part of this. And under the original program, you're started off, your application for PPP was 1 page, and the application for forgiveness was 11 pages. They changed all of that after they realized that the borrowers really just simply couldn't work their way through that. And under the original program, if your loan was $50,000 or less, it came down to a 1-page application for forgiveness. Under the new program, you can go all the way up to $150,000 and have the modified forgiveness, which is a one-page document. So there really is an attempt to try to make this second round more available for smaller businesses all the time. Let's see here. They've expanded the number of nonprofits that can apply for PPP this time. The primary underwriting criteria this time is a business has to show a drop of at least 25% in their gross revenues in any one quarter. So you're going to have to be able to show, and most people are using the second quarter that I've talked to, because that's when they had their biggest drop. But you're going to have to show your gross revenues, say in the second quarter of 2019, and then your gross revenue in the second quarter of 2020. If it's down 25%, you have less than 300 employees, you're going to qualify. I mean, that's the reality of it. Your amount you qualify is again on the same factor with the first PPP, which is 2.5 times your average monthly payroll. So you're going to have records in 2020 of what your payroll amount is to be able to verify that. But really, the banks I'm talking to, an application, your 2019 tax return and 2020 payroll documentation are really the basic documents that you need to be able to supply to qualify. I mean, that's basically the program. The funds are good for between 8 and 24 weeks after you receive them. Then you can apply for forgiveness again. You can go back and modify your first draw if you haven't already had it forgiven. I just don't know how much there's going to be an interest in it, because again, with the $148 billion left over when the program ended last year, a lot of the businesses that could use this are really no longer in business, which is a shame. The businesses that are surviving, at least that I deal with, many of them have adjusted enough down, been able to lower their costs that they can at least survive for the foreseeable future. So we're just going to have to see how many businesses out there that this will affect. The first week of last year, when PPP first came out, I was juggling about 14 different businesses. This week, the first week of it, I'm juggling 3 applications. So that shows you a pretty big reduction. And it's a lot smoother now because, again, the SBA is experienced, the banks are experienced, and if the borrower is going for their second draw under a PPP program, they're more experienced also. So far, knock on wood, it's going a lot more smoother than it did last year. That's the basic program, John, and I'm more than happy to try to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Stevens. Anybody have any questions on it? On what he's saying here?
I do. I have one. My sister is an independent contractor. Basically, she rents she's a stylist. She rents a space, or a little suite from a company. She never applied the first time for any PPE. She's obviously self-employed. Would this program, the second round, be applicable for her? And then how would she go about that? Would she still need to show decreased revenue, which probably isn't going to be a problem because she's in Virginia, but they were literally shut down, mandatory shutdown last year, and a part of this year. So could you respond to that, please?
Sure. Yes, she does qualify. General contractors and 1099 qualified the first time. They qualify this time. She's going to have to be able to produce documents that shows that she has had at least a 25% reduction. As you said, she lives in Virginia?
Yeah.
I don't have any lenders in Virginia. I'm afraid they're all here. But really, she ought to talk to her local. She ought to talk to a community bank and not a really large aggregator like Chase or Citicorp. There, she's just going to get an email address. They're not going to return her phone call. They're going to be swamped. Right. I could go on this call for hours with different clients that had horror stories trying to work with big lenders and it all falling apart. They became my client. I took them to small community banks. And really she needs to go to a credit union or a small community bank or otherwise she's going to get lost in the shuffle, but she does qualify as an independent contractor.
Great. Thank you so much.
That was a great question and a great answer too. That really that filled in some blanks for me also. So thank you, Stevens, and thank you, Diane. Yeah. Any other questions? This is the time. I know there's a lot of unknown things that we're going into again this year, but this is the time to find out what we can. We got the authority right here.
And if you think of a question 30 minutes from now, please don't hesitate to give me a call or email me.
You want to put your contact information in there, Stevens, for us so people could jot that down? Or
I may be getting out of my abilities here. How do I do that?
Just down the chat if you can.
In chat? Okay.
Yeah, in chat. If you could just type in the information you would like to give to people, that would be very helpful for us.
I'm doing it now.
Yeah. And I think we do have it on the website from before in the member section. We'll have to look at the prior information we have, but it's always helpful to have current information because I know for myself, I can spend 10 minutes trying to look up what I know I already have, but if you type it in freshly, it really helps me a lot. So I appreciate that.
Earlier this year, and again, I realize we have a lot of members that have residential properties.
Mhm.
So it's not applicable. I know we have some members that have got commercial, but really when I gave this talk, I don't remember now when it was, but actually I picked up 6 members as clients. Either they had a family friend that had a business or they did have commercial clients, and appreciate any referrals that anyone would want to send my way.
Yeah, and I was going to mention too, John, we do have Stevens' contact information on our website. It's under the for our members only section. You drop down to COVID resources, and Bayard Capital is the name of Stevens company. It's right there. Although you actually just got the recording from your last presentation too there.
Oh, super. Okay.
Yeah.
Stevens, one other question. You mentioned the EIDL loan, I believe, the disaster area loan. Is there any place for that type of loan and modified?
It's still open. It's the EIDL is still open. It was supposed to end December, but within this new package, they extended it to December of this year. So again, under that program, the funds can be used for anything, but you have to show that you've been economically damaged by COVID. And again, it is a direct loan without any forgiveness through the SBA directly. So you have to go to their website. I don't know, there's a page for EIDL and get started. Again, the funds can be amortized over 30 years, literally. And it got a bad name at the very beginning because there was so much of a rush to use EIDL. At this point in time, there is not a big backlog for EIDL. And if someone has got actual damages, I would encourage them to go ahead and make an application through the SBA. Does that help, Dan?
Yes, I think it does. Could damages include loss of rents? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
okay. I mean,
Yeah, but
I know
mean,
I'm in good shape now, but you know, you could change for me. And I know there are folks that have been really damaged because they've got a lot of tenants not paying. So.
Right. No, that's a perfect example. And yes, under that program, you can apply for the EIDL. If you've had, you're going to have to document that your loss of rent was related to COVID, but your documentation is it might just simply consist of a letter, you writing it.
Great. We have another question here, Stevens, from Anthony. He wanted to know if, can I use my PPP to pay off my EIDL loan?
No, but they can be combined together where you got to talk to the SBA and your lender, and you can take your EIDL funds, roll them into your PPP, and then have the whole thing forgiven.
Okay, good to know.
That's good to know. Yeah.
Any other questions? Well, thank you so much, Stevens, for filling us in. That's very helpful, very good updates, and appreciate it very much. Got your contact info in there, and it is like Lloyd said, it is on our website that was under the members, and then COVID section. Is that correct?
Right, COVID section and the Bayard is the name of Stevens' company.
Their business capital. Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We really appreciate this.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for coming on again. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And also, if anybody else wants to hang on here, we're going to have a little haves and wants session. If you got something to sell or got looking to buy or looking for some services that are applicable to real estate, This is the time to come on and go ahead and speak up. I see we got Anthony Plager on here. I was going to say I invited him last week. He sent contact information through our website. Is this your first time to get on, Anthony? Can you unmute yourself?
Sure. Yeah, this is my first time being on. I am remote from St. Louis, but lived there for quite a while and have property still in St. Louis and do a lot of business there with flips, especially over in South Minneapolis. And I'm a part of this RIA and also the RIA in Minnesota. And so that was where some of my questions came from, to the group mailbox. And some of the advantages, I guess, of being in two RIAs is just being able to see how they're both run and some of the advantages of, some of the things that are on the website and resources and other things like that. And I wanted to make sure that some of the people in St. Louis RIA had some of the same advantages that they are providing for the people in Minnesota. So I'm glad I was able to participate today, even remotely. I really appreciate being able to do so. I'm hoping that even after COVID, that some of this still remains, or at least they have some setup for the meetings that are in person for individuals like myself, or who can't, make it that night or during the day sometimes, especially now, because I have other things to do, other jobs. I might not be able to come to a specific location and not multitask like I'm doing now. So I really appreciated the kind of virtual options that have become available during COVID.
Yeah, I'm suspecting that we probably will carry on some of these Zoom events afterwards because they have been so popular, and especially the ease of recording. I know John and I discussed even before COVID, of being able to record our sessions, our speakers from our main events on the third Tuesday, but we never got, because of all the logistics and legalities of getting permissions from everybody, we never really did it. But with the ease of recording Zoom, when John starts the meeting, he can just click on a button and have the meeting recorded. And then later on, he sends it, downloads it, and sends it over to our webmaster and gets it on the website. So that's a great resource. In fact, I got an article coming out. If you haven't been on our website lately, I've got an article coming out in the newsletter for this month showing you how to get to all those resources on our website. So it's a good resource. We've got all our recorded meetings going back to May. We have these Zoom calls on Fridays going back to March, I think, or April. I think it was April when we started having these and getting the recordings. So yeah, it's a good resource. I suspect we'll at least do some of it. We'll have to see how things go. But from the sounds of it, we'll be doing this for a while until we can get back at meeting in person. So yeah, appreciate you coming on. Yeah, I know one thing you mentioned was that the fact that we did not have a place to advertise properties for sale on our website. I know you can put a message on our meetup. I don't know if you checked out our meetup site. If you go, if you Google meetup STL RIA, you can find us there. But I know one of the other groups in St. Louis started that for a while, but they got into, they were getting a little bit of everything on there, and it got a little hard to handle. We're strictly a volunteer group. We don't have any full-time paid people monitoring our sites to mitigate any issues that might come up. So that's the reason we've held back from having that. And when we were meeting in person, it wasn't a big deal. We always, our third Tuesday meeting, we always had a haves and wants session open, and anybody could, wholesalers could stand up and say what they've got to offer. And there was always people in the room like myself that we don't do wholesaling, but we're always up for buying a new rental property in our farming area. So it was a good opportunity for wholesalers to meet the investors, that the buy and hold investors. So And that's saying that. Anybody else have anything? Also, we connected up with some folks up with contractors here too. I know a few weeks ago had some people who were looking for contractors. We got some great suggestions. So anybody else have anything?
Hey everyone, this is Mark. Just wanted to say hi. This is my first time joining this call, so I appreciate you all being able to welcome me to the group as well. I'm actually new to the real estate investment world, so purchased my first multi-family unit, which is a little bit more turnkey, but kind of ways to start investing into real estate and more or less maybe a little bit of flipping and buying and holding. So I appreciate the insight that you all have given so far today, and look forward to getting to know some of you a little bit more in the future. But any tips, advice, resources, I'll take advantage of all of them as I'm starting to dive into this. So thank you for having me.
Okay, hey, appreciate you coming on, and I hope you'll find some of the resources we've got on our website too. But I hope that's helpful. And before we get any further, I do want to mention maybe John, if you want to talk a little bit about our programs. Next week we've got some great speakers. John's got lined up Tracy Wilson and Danita Weigel from the Investment Property Exchange Services. And they're going to talk about more than just the Section 1031 exchanges. They've got a whole update on what some of the changes in the tax laws that are either proposed or coming up that could affect real estate. And Section 1031 is a great opportunity to be able to sell one property, buy a replacement, and kick the can down the road for paying taxes on your gains. I've done that several times, and it's been very, very helpful to me. And there's sounds like there's some changes coming up in that with that section of the tax code. But and then I don't know if you had any more to add to that, John. We got more information on our website and our meetup site both. You can register for that meeting. That's on Tuesday at 7 o'clock. And were we going to do open it up ahead of time for a little haves and wants, or?
We can. I want to get started right on time because we have had some comments about we kind of started too early, I think, on a couple of them, which we don't really want to do. We'll let people in and we can just talk in networking, but we're not going to start the meeting till exactly 7 o'clock. But we'll probably tune in 15 minutes early or something. It's going to be a little different than when we meet live, because when we meet live, we need the full hour or 45 minutes. We'll just kind of get on and just a little bit early, but we'll start exactly 7 o'clock. We do have some other, they will be actually, to expand a little bit more on Tracy and Danita coming up. They're going to also be talking not only in addition to the 1031 exchanges, the individual tax rates and some corporate income tax rates coming up, some of the proposed changes, long-term capital gains, qualified dividend rates, estate taxes. There's some really big changes coming up that some of them are proposed and some of them looks like they're already going to go through just with what's going on right now. So be sure and tune in on the 19th at 7 o'clock. And again, like you said, Lloyd, we'll have a link on the website, and then watch your emails. And one thing I like to point out about the emails is do check your spam or your bulk, because sometimes the stuff just goes there, even though we're not spamming you, and that's something we never want to do, but that just happens. I have a lot of personal things come to me and they get lost that way. So just make sure you check that out. Another thing I want to mention too, next week, we have Kathy Davis again, our Davis Travellini LLC, and depending on who's not in court and who's not having babies or whatever the case may be. But we also have Norman Mead. He's going to do a presentation after Kathy, or after the law firm, on the auctions. The auction process is really cool the way Norm does this. I recently sold a house there. We'll talk more about that next week, but he's got a really easy, simple process to do this. And I think everybody should at least know about it. This is a great option, a good way to sell your properties right now. And in fact, I've got a couple more I was digging up this week that I've been working on, that I'm probably going to get in touch with him probably the next week or so when I get those ready. So anyway, be sure to tune in. Then the only other thing I'll mention is we do, of course, the Fridays, but then on February 16th, we have Dean Manzetti from Equity Trust again with some of the new things. They got a free training they're going to do on 401ks, which, you know, we've had them before, but on March 11th, they're going to do a 90-minute complete training with nothing to sell, nothing for you to buy. If you decide you want to go with them with an account, that's fine, but it's really nothing we're trying to promote other than education. So keep that in mind. Of course, there'll be more information on that as time comes on. The only other thing I want to mention is if, you know, we're setting up the meetings normally by this time of year, normally by about Thanksgiving, we have them all set up for the next year. This year has been crazy because we don't know exactly what's going to go on. But if you do have any suggestions for something you'd like to hear, send us an email, send us a note, and we'll do our best to see if we can get that on the schedule this year for you also. So that's about all I want to say, Lloyd. So you can add to that or anything else you want to say, feel free.
Okay, no, I wanted to make sure you mentioned that Norm was going to be on next week when I'm trying to squeeze him in here. So that's great. While we got everybody on the Zoom here after Kathy, I'll go ahead and add another speaker on like we got today with Stevens Plowman.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody else have anything you want to bring up today?
I just want to ask Norm what that big pickle is in the background there that I see.
So my brokerage, we sponsored a golf tournament one year, and I don't know if you've seen there was a commercial, and one of the comedians said the statement she made was, "We're kind of a big deal." So we just took that and we made a sign, and we made that our mascot, if you will. So talking about our brokerage, we're just kind of a big deal.
Okay, thanks. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting with the Zoom calls. See what's on people's hanging on a wall in back. That's why I think who's his name? Fred you had on a while back was talking about you should just take if you want to have focus on your speech, just put on one of those a picture or a blank wall like background to blot it out so you don't get questions like that.
Actually, Fred put on his website this week. He has a really good little small section. He's got it where you can listen to the audio or you can just read it. It's on do's and don'ts on Zoom meetings. It's very interesting. I don't know. He had it connected on his Facebook page, but he's got it on his website directly, which I don't have his website in front of me, but that's something worth checking out. So
okay, and it was Fred Miller.
Fred Miller. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
No sweat public speaking. That's Fred Miller.
No sweat publicspeaking.com or something. I think it's something similar.
Yeah.
To that. That's kind of his theme. So yeah, I might go there and take a look. I'm just getting familiar. I set up my own Zoom account here just to get more familiar with it, so I can call some short meetings when you're not in, John.
Great.
So trying that out.
Mm-hmm. It's a good resource that we have, and this is what we have right now. So it's I'm really glad that we were able to do this. I mean, when I got on here 7 years ago, whatever it was, 8 years ago, I never dreamed we would be doing this as a full-time thing right now.
Oh my gosh, none of us did, I think.
Yeah.
But it's kind of changed the whole scope of everybody's daily business. So, and I think it's going to be here to stay, at least a portion of it, because it's so much easier to get people together when, especially you got people from different parts of the country or different, just part of our area, you know. So I think we're going to keep our board meetings virtual after this because we got people from Illinois and South County and North County and St. Charles County trying to get together. And boy, it sure saves that 45-minute to an hour drive just to go to a meeting once a month. So I think we're going to continue those for sure.
It keeps me in clean shirts too, because I always got to pay attention when I'm wearing here.
Yeah. I need to iron mine here a little bit.
Not my paint shirt that I was out working with earlier before I get on the calls, you know.
You still keep your painting pants on, but as long as you put on a clean shirt.
That's right. Nobody knows. No, it is good to meet like this. It's good seeing everybody. I think it's a little bit easier sometimes because I know on some of the meetings, not everybody can make it. Even on our Tuesday night meetings, sometimes, there was conflicts. We have things going on. Yeah. This way, though, you can tune in. And even if you have something else going on, but you can also watch our replays. We put them in the member section, which I think is really invaluable. Because there are a lot of things that I personally like to go back and see. Did I hear this right? Or do I need a, contact information or whatever, whatever you need. I mean, it's really a good thing to have the way it's set up right now. So.
Yeah, and a lot of times we have speakers, I take notes, but I can't find the piece of scrap paper that I took the note on the back of, was it on the back of my newsletter or where is it? And then, yep, you got it. Now we've got them recorded and we just go right there to the to our website and play it, play it back, hear it again. So. Okay, well, if nobody has anything else.
I got something for John real quick. John, is Laura there? Or-
She is. She's working over here. Yeah.
Okay. I got your email and I sent you a reply. Do you want me to send that check to you, it written out to you, or?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I'll get that done. Thanks.
That's our new treasurer, Jim, here.
Yeah. I should mention that. Yeah, Jim is our new treasurer. He's taken over Ruth Hollander's, Elliot's place. So appreciate him jumping in here to help out. He's been a board member in the last several years, so he's been a good asset.
Yes.
I'm not sure how I got talked into it, but yeah, I'll do my best.
Doing an excellent job, and we appreciate you, Jim.
Thanks.
Are we still talking about the same Choik that I know, or is there another Jim on here?
Thanks, Amber.
Okay. Well, anybody else got anything? It's open mic. You just unmute yourself and jump on in.
I could sing some Hamilton.
If not, a lot of us are probably ready for some lunch. So I'm gonna cut away, and we'll see you all next week. Hopefully on Tuesday. If not, catch you back here on next Friday. Same time.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Thank you all for attending.
Thanks all for coming. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.